Hey, what's good? We're back. Yeah, another video. Yeah. Okay, so yesterday I know I did a reel about the Max Crosby trade, but we are gonna talk about that one a little bit today. But I do want to make sure I start by doing the whole blah blah blah. Uh, my name is Cody Lear. If you have not been here before, I very much appreciate you. Um, if you'd like to give a like, comment, and subscribe, we'd very much appreciate having you here. Yeah. There's uh the second one. I don't know if it's like a massive deal, but it was still a really big, but it's still a good trade. So I do want to look into that as well. Let me take a look at my note here. Okay, we have a couple deals that got made, right? Khalil Mack, linebacker. I'd say he's more of an edge rusher now. For the Los Angeles Chargers, inked a 1 year, $18 million deal, bringing him back to LA. I think that was pretty much the one move I feel like he needed to make, because Jesse Minter just went to Baltimore. There's a chance that he could want to go to Baltimore, especially with the news of Max Crosby getting traded yesterday. I definitely could have, seen Khalil Mack saying, maybe my future would be over there in Baltimore. But he is going to stay in LA. Definitely a really good move for them. They're really big aspect with the Chargers. And, I just gave myself video ideas and I don't know why I hadn't done that yet, but I guess we'll wait till after free agency to come up with that deal. But regardless, we have some fun stuff going on. Khalil Mack obviously re-signed. Brandon Aubrey, I don't remember what it said. I believe it was that he won his like restricted free agency thing, and he's gonna get paid a pretty good amount of money to be a kicker, which makes a lot of sense. He's the best one in the game right now, other than maybe Cam Little, but I guess that remains to be seen. We saw Jordan Davis. He inked a new deal as well, which was pretty massive, if I remember correctly. Jordan Davis, obviously Charger, or no, Philadelphia Eagle, drafted a few years ago. Very good player. Also, kicker Eddie Pinheiro agreed to terms on a 4 year, $17 million deal with the Niners. Jordan Davis has agreed to a 3 year, $78 million extension. Dang, that's a pretty good play. Okay, so before we talk about Max Crosby, let's talk about the other trade today. The Packers and the Colts, they just swapped a pair of defenders. Green Bay will be trading defensive tackle Colby Wooden to Indianapolis in exchange for the linebacker Zaire Franklin. Well, the Zaire Franklin deal makes a lot more sense now after Rashawn Gary, who was who is very likely to be left out of Green Bay, as he announced that he probably would not be back. Which, by the way, we don't know if that means he won't be back. I mean, the odds are very likely no, that he will not be back. But I guess we'll see. I guess that we will see out here. Connor McGovern, he inked a 4 year, $52 million deal with the Bills to basically just ensure that he will not be going anywhere in this free agency. He was probably the best center in this one, so definitely could be the case. Other than that, okay, let's get into the big one. We'll talk real quick. Let's talk real quick about the Packers. Does that deal make a lot of sense to get Zaire Franklin? I think it does, especially if you are letting go of Rashawn Gary. I think Rashawn Gary is. I don't love moving on from him either, because the problem with that is that Rashawn Gary was really strong when Micah Parsons was on the field. And yes, I know that Micah is obviously probably not going to be on the field right away when we're starting off. But if he is, then I have some questions, because I didn't love this move to let Rashawn Gary go. But maybe the money isn't what it is, and maybe that's what the problem is. Uh, Overall, I don't know if that move makes a lot of sense for the Packers. I guess getting Zaire Franklin is a great deal. Getting Zaire Franklin is a great deal overall. Zaire Franklin is one of the best tacklers in the NFL. In fact, I think he's been like the best tackler for years at this point. So, does that move make a lot of sense? Yeah, I completely understand it. I just think that I don't see why you didn't just bring Rashawn Gary back too. I know that the money probably could have been the situation, but a restructure could have been done. We're seeing it all across the NFL. Really, just a weird sign for me for Zaire Franklin to get traded. Yeah, I guess that's where we're at. Okay, time to talk the main event, right? We had the trade last night. The Baltimore Ravens put the league on notice. They brought in the big dog, Maxx Crosby. Baltimore brought in Maxx Crosby. The Clint Kubiak era underway in Vegas. Jesse Minter now in Baltimore. Crazy move. Vegas is now going to be trading five-time Pro Bowl defensive end Maxx Crosby, the guy who I thought could have been Defensive Player of the Year this year if he had the year that I was expecting him to. Obviously, he didn't, but that's neither here nor there. The whole team was just really bad. Maxx Crosby was not the bad part. He was still phenomenal. But either way, he is traded for the number 14th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft and a 2027 first round pick. Well, by the way, the deal cannot become official till Wednesday because it is the start of the new league year. The Crosby deal, I feel like we were all waiting on it. I actually had a little bit of a thought that okay, maybe they're telling the truth and that he won't be moving because I was wondering, right? I was wondering if he was going to move whatsoever because a player like Maxx Crosby, if you're going into a new era, I didn't understand why you would do such a thing, right? Like, I didn't understand why you wouldn't just have Max on your team, basically. But I guess it makes sense to John Spytek, the GM over there. I think the move is not a bad idea for for the Raiders because they're getting two first round picks out of the deal. Getting two first round picks is a really big deal, especially in the NFL right now. Do I absolute and I would personally say that um I don't love giving up two first round picks for a guy that could be that is getting real close to 30. However, we've talked enough about Maxx Crosby. We'll talk about why this makes sense for Baltimore. Baltimore's defense just was not as impressive as you wanted it to be last year. And you have great players like Kyle Hamilton. You got to do something to be able to let him cover. Obviously, if you go out there and you get yourself a corner, I know Alontae Taylor is testing the free agency market, and he's a pretty talented corner himself. If that's the guy that you want to go after, brilliant. Makes a whole lot of sense in that regard. And if that's the way you want to go, I think that it's a great move because their pass rush needs to get to the quarterback. Last year, this team was blowing leads left and right. You have a guy that plays all four quarters, and Maxx Crosby, an absolute animal, a specimen. I think that this move really does help Baltimore in that case quickly. The thing is Baltimore thinking that that was their last piece to a Super Bowl. I still don't believe it is. I think that there are some more issues in Baltimore right now. Yes, the pass rush is going to be improved, and that's a very important part of the defense. But in my one little complaint here is going to be I don't I guess it kind of depends on what you're going to do on the offense. I thought this made a lot of sense to get a receiver this year. Makai Lemon was there. I don't think Carnell Tate falls to 14, but I know there's a couple other receivers that you could definitely get. Indiana had Cooper coming out in this year's draft. Obviously, there's a potential of him being in the second round. If Baltimore maybe finds a way to trade back in, possibly. I don't know how they trade back in this year now at this point. Give it up, two first round picks. But yeah, regardless, I And if we're talking about the Raiders, this makes sense because you're trying to build a future with Clint Kubiak. The Ravens obviously still believe that, hey, this could be a win now team. We just got to get a guy in here that can run the defense. And our offense is already super, super talented. It shouldn't be hard to run it. So here we go. And with the Raiders, this does make a lot of sense. You get 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby. And this is a very heavily, heavily stacked defensive class. There's great players all across the board on the defensive side. You're likely able to get Fernando Mendoza. And at number 14, you can either go get him some help, or there's probably a defensive end or a corner or something that will be available at the board. I know Gerard McCoy and Mansour Delane are probably the ones that you're looking at right off the top of your head, if you're talking corner anyway. Yeah, this deal makes so much sense on both regards. I I am very critical. I am critical on the Ravens side, obviously, but it does try to make sense if they're trying to win now. Yeah, what a the news just keeps rolling in the NFL. Obviously, we now have a World Baseball Classic going. Under overall, was not that impressed in the first game from the U.S. So here's hoping. But with all the crazy things going on in the world, I hope I was able to take a minute of your time to let you relax. Hopefully, anyway, if you gave me a minute of your time, I'm gonna love you for life. Uh, prayers for the people in Michigan and Oklahoma, and obviously all the other crazy stuff that's happening across the world. I don't know what to say other than I hope everything is fine. That's all I can hope. But if you do, I appreciate the video and like the video. I very much appreciate you. If you want to leave a like, a comment, a subscribe, I'd appreciate it so very much. I know I'm a little bit kind of here, but I was really just trying to space my thoughts out, and I'm not very good at that sometimes, but regardless, thank you so much. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, like I said, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you all next video.